Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Azrin here, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, day, whatever, evening, night, whatever it is for you right now as you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast. This is coming to you again from my car. The previous episode was also from my car. And in fact, you'll notice that if you're watching the video, I'm wearing the same clothes as last time because I've literally shot two videos, one/podcasts, one after another. And what I want to talk about right now is something that occurred to me earlier today, which is how do I call this? Something like non-linguistic factors that influence how quickly or slowly you learn another language. So what does this actually mean? Well, it means this. When you're learning a language, there are certain things you can do that will make the language learning process faster or slower that are directly related to learning the language itself. I'll give you a personal example here. So for example, I have decided in the past that I'm going to do some intensive language studies, and if I do that, it'll help me learn a language faster. I'm going to go to Peru or this country, France, whatever. I'm going to do an intensive focus for 1 month, and because I'm spending so much more time on learning the language, and because I am in the country that speaks the language, that's going to expedite the process for me. So that's a really good decision, for example. But it's a language learning decision that's directly related to the language, has to do with how I spend my time to learn the language, which therefore influences how quickly or perhaps how slowly I progress, and overall how my experience is of learning said language. Okay? But recently I realized that, well, one of the reasons that people might be struggling to learn a language, whether it's emotionally or practically, emotionally meaning you're frustrated, it's so hard, you don't like it, or practically as in, well, I'm putting in all this time, but I'm not getting better, and I don't know why that is, right? That's more logical. Whichever camp you're in, or maybe on the positive side, oh my God, this is going so well, I'm having a great time, I'm learning so fast, woo, this is fun. Wherever you fall on the spectrum, there are the linguistic factors, and what we'll talk about today are the non-linguistic factors. And these are things like, for example, your sleep. Like your sleep will impact your overall experience of learning another language, right? Something like what you eat in the day, the amount of water you drink in the day, your stress at work, your stress at home with the family life, how alive you feel on a day-to-day basis. There are so many things that have nothing to do directly to learning a language, or rather have very little to do with how you spend your time to learn said language. And there are other factors in your life that are having a negative or positive effect on your language learning experience. So if you're trying to figure out, how do I solve this language learning problem? I'm learning too slowly. I can't understand people when they talk. I can't speak. I freeze up. I this, I that, whatever problem you're having. Yes, there are things you can do differently in terms of how you go about learning that language that will make a difference. Of course there are. Of course. But don't forget that don't forget the other side of the equation. Don't forget that there are non-linguistic, non-language learning factors that also might solve that problem indirectly. So, and often they have to do with your life's, there's a lot of things it could be, and that's going to be very individual, of course. But a few things to think about is sleep, nutrition, stress, water, exercise. Those are 5 things to initially think about. Because if you optimize those, you will become, it will also have a positive effect on your language learning experience. Quick story for you. So back in 2016, I realized that I wasn't looking after my health enough. I was making every wrong decision about my health, except for drinking too much alcohol or taking drugs. Those were essentially the 2 things I wasn't doing that were good. Everything else was bad. I wasn't sleeping enough. I had a high stress job. I worked like 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I ate no vegetables and very few fruits. I ate all carbohydrates. I had a lot of sugar in my diet. I was eating a fair amount, not a ton, but a good amount of processed foods. I wasn't exercising at all. And in 2016, I decided that, okay, I think I need to make some changes here. The very first thing I changed was my sleep. And I think I probably added 1 or 2 hours a night. I think I was sleeping at the time 5 or 6 hours a night. And I think I bumped it up to 7 or 8. I can't remember exactly, but it was adding a little bit of sleep. And I couldn't believe how every aspect of my life improved. My work got easier. I felt calmer. I felt more relaxed. I felt in my own body. Everything improved. Everything. If I'd been learning a language at that time, which I don't remember if I was, but if I was, I'm sure the experience would have gotten better. So one decision in terms of in my case, it was sleep, changed everything in my life, including I probably was learning Mandarin at the time, actually, because I started learning Mandarin in 2014. So actually, yeah, I was learning Mandarin. I definitely was. But I remember vividly thinking how everything in my life just felt much better. And there were shifts like that I made in my non-language life that made the entire life better. And of course, because language is a piece of my life, that gets better too. So I hope you found this video / podcast interesting and helpful. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. Go to azrenthelanguagenerd.com/contact. That's AZ or ZREN, thelanguagenerd.com/contact. And you can email me there, find my social media, whatever you want, and we can chat further. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.